morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a few moments to become present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position. I'm on a cushion. I'm trying to open up your back by elongating your spine, the back of your neck, opening up your heart and your chest, your diaphragm. Then gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. And soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is. Soft and gentle. Breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention, I'd like to talk about the eighth and the final limb of yoga, which is Samadhi. We've talked about all the previous limbs, and those actually prepare the mind and the body for this last one, for Samadhi. The yamas and niyamas, the first and second limbs of yoga, are guidelines on how to interact with yourself and with the world. The asanas and the pranayamas, the poses and the breath work, are exercises for a healthy body. Pratyahara is withdrawing from your senses. So we go from the external, and this is kind of the transition point or the gateway to coming internal. And then with the internal, we have Dharana, which is about concentration and focusing the mind. And Dhyana, which is about meditation, bringing you to that, as Eckhart Tolle calls it, the space of awareness, the vertical plane of the present. So Samadhi is the eighth limb of yoga, and what it means is enlightenment. And there is a lot of theory out there that you have to be a monk, and especially devoted to obtain enlightenment. It's a spiritual experience that lights up your soul, and I feel that anybody can have that experience that lights up your soul. And it shines the light on your true self. So that's what all the limbs previous to Samadhi work toward, is that shining the light on your true self. And it brings you to a oneness with all things. It fills you with joy and peace beyond all understanding. And to quote from the and then there's Oscar. Philippians, chapter 4, verse 7, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding. One of my favorite lines from the Bible. And that experience, I feel, is available to all of us. We don't need to be a monk in order to get glimpses of it. And an example of that, I was trying to come up with an example of how, the everyday person can come up with that. And for me, I have experienced it on a few occasions, reading a book. So think about when you're reading a book, you open the book and you start to close down on your, or withdraw from your senses, except for your sight, or if you're listening to an audio book, your ears. And that's the pratyahara. You're starting to go internal. And then dharana is concentrating on the words, focusing on the story. And the dhyana is being present within the story. You're on that vertical plane of being present. You're not thinking about the past or the future. You're just engrossed in the now of the story. And then that brings you to that samadhi. So sometimes there's a part of that story that resonates so deeply within you that it lights up your soul, and that awareness remains with you forever. It's just a knowledge that's there of peace and understanding and joy. So that, you may have that reading a book, you may have that with a loved one. Look into your life to see if you have those experiences of enlightenment, not as profound as I think they talk about it needing to be. I think it can be a very humble and basic enlightenment. So for our meditation this morning, we're going to bring ourselves to that space of awareness. And on the inhale, if you want kind of a mantra idea, think of the word peace. And on the exhale, think of the word joy. And if you would like to use a mudra, there is a mudra called Dhyana, and you have your right hand over your left. So you're cupping your hands together and you're bringing your thumbs together. And you have it on your lap with the palms facing upward. And that is Dhyana mudra. So if you take a few moments to just meditate in your own way, and I will meet you on the mat. I guess Oscar and I will meet you on the mat. Joining me this morning. You want to go there? You may open your eyes now. We'll begin our asana part of our practice. So again, if you're on a chair, a cushion or a blanket, you can remain there for a few of these. Let's start with our hands on fingertips touching the mat. And take a deep inhale. We'll do some sun breaths. So inhale, bringing arms up overhead. Deep inhale from the stomach on up to the lungs, on up to your chest. And then exhale, bringing your hands back down, slowly releasing from your chest and your lungs, your ribs, and your tummy. Inhale again. Deep inhale. Exhale, bringing your hands back down. Inhale. Lifting your arms up overhead. And exhale, bringing them back down. One last time, deep inhale. And exhale. Relaxing your shoulders and rounding them toward the back. We're going to clasp our hands together behind our back for chest openers. So inhale, you're going to extend your hands, interlaced hands away from your hips. And then exhale, bring your clasped hands to the right side, to your right hip. And then inhale, extend them to the back again. Exhale, bring them over to your left hip. Inhale, extend them to the back. Exhale, over to the right. Inhale, extend them back. Exhale, over to the left. And one last time, exhale, extend them back. And then release your hands and bring them to your sides. Bring the soles of your feet together. Come into cobbler's pose. And you can interlace your hands again and wrap them around your toes if that's comfortable, or if you like, you can just wrap your hands around your ankles. And then with a straight back, we're going to send our elbows over to our side and lean forward and just go as the amount that is comfortable for you. I haven't done this in a while. It's and I tried it earlier before class and was like, oh, don't go down very far. I haven't done this in a while. So extend your elbows toward your knees and lean forward and just come down to what's comfortable. And then come back up to a seated position. And then lean forward again, elbows toward your knees. And then come back up again to seated position. And one last time, we'll lean forward, elbows toward your knees, straight back, come down as far as you can. Take a couple deep breaths. And then come back to a seated position. So extend our right leg out in front of us, and then flip our left knee up toward the sky. And wrap our right arm around our left knee and twist our torso toward the left side of our mat, bringing our left hand behind us and landing that left hand close to our hips. Just nice, easy twist. And then come back to center and switch legs. So extend your left leg down, right knee comes up toward the sky. Wrap your left arm around your right knee, bringing your right hand behind you, twisting toward the right side of your mat. And a couple deep breaths. And then come back to center. We'll roll down on our mat, one vertebrae at a time. Just go slowly until gravity takes over, and then roll down fully onto your back. And bring your knees to your chest, giving them a nice gentle hug. We'll wrap our hands around our left knee and extend the right leg fully down to the end of the mat. You can land that leg on the mat. Flex both of your feet so the toes are pointing up toward the sky. Have your legs be active. And then bring that right leg back up And we're going to switch legs. So bring your hands to the right knee and extend your left leg out to the end of the mat. And toes are flexed, pointing up to the sky, activating your legs. Inhale, bring the left leg back up. We're going to extend the right leg down again. So wrap your hands around the left knee, extending the right leg all the way down to the mat. And then one last time, we're going to bring our hands to our right knee and extend the left knee down to the end of the mat. We'll stay there. Take your right hand and place it on top of your right knee and place your left hand down beside you, palm down, just for support. We're going to anchor our hip bones into the mat and extend our right arm fully down toward the end of the mat, pushing our right knee away from us. And then we're going to bring that right knee over so that it's on, hovering over our left thigh. And then we're going to guide that right knee back toward our left shoulder. So you're coming up the left side of your body. And then you're going to guide that knee over to your right shoulder, and it'll come up a little further. All the while your hips are relaxing square on the mat. Then we'll do that again. So push your right knee away from you, extending your right arm fully. Bring your right knee so it's hovering above your left thigh. Guide your right knee toward your left shoulder. And then guide it toward your right shoulder. And then one last time, push it away from you, extending your arm fully. Bring that right knee, have it hover above the left thigh. And then guide that right knee toward your left shoulder. And then guide it toward your right shoulder. And bring up your left leg so you have both knees to chest and give them both a nice gentle hug. So we're going to extend our right leg down to the mat. And we'll do the same thing on the left side. So with your left hand on your left knee, on top of your left knee, and your right hand so that the palm is facing down on the mat for support. Your hips are fully squared on the mat. We're going to push our left knee away from us, extending our left arm fully. Then bring your left knee over your right thigh so it's hovering right above it. Both hips are on the mat still. Then guide your left knee up toward your right shoulder. And then guide your left knee up toward your left shoulder and bring it as far back as it can. And then we'll extend our left arm again fully so that your knees goes away from you. Bring your left knee so it's hovering above the right thigh. Guide your left knee toward your right shoulder. And then guide your left knee toward your left shoulder. And then one last time, extend your left arm fully. sending your knee away from you. Bring that left knee over, hovering over your right thigh. Guide your left knee toward your right shoulder. And then lastly, guide your left knee toward your left shoulder. And then bring your right leg up again. So you have both knees to chest and give them a nice gentle hug. Then we're going to extend our arms out in a T position away from us and drop our knees to the right side of the mat. They're kind of in a fetal position. And bring your right arm down so that it's touching the knees, and then bring your knees so that they're right on the, or right snug against your wrist. So your arm comes down at a diagonal and your knees are touching your wrist, and you're in a chair. And if you can, both shoulders should be on the mat. And if not, bring your left arm up to your waist and just relax there for a moment. This is a really good side position for sleeping, if you're side sleepers. And I read just this week about the advantages of, well, first of all, they suggest do not sleep on your stomach, which I do on occasion. And then the advantages of sleeping on your side, which we've talked about with the alternate nostril breathing, is that being on your right side helps you to get to sleep, and then being on your left side actually helps to wake up. So we're going to bring our legs back to center, our knees back to center, back to our chest, give them a hug, and we'll do that on the other side. So extend your arms out again from the shoulders in a T position. Drop your knees over to the left side of the mat. And bring your left wrist down so that it's sitting on top of your knees. And if you can, see on this side, my shoulders don't quite hit the mat. So I'm going to bring my right arm up to my waist and just kind of relax it on my waist. So these past two exercises were from a style of yoga called Svarupa. It's a course I took not this past winter, the winter before, from the Osher down at Dartmouth. They're very slow, very gentle on your body. Okay, and then bring your knees back up to center. Bring them back to your chest, give them a nice hug. And we're going to make our way up to tabletop. So you can either roll back to the side and make your way up to tabletop, or if you'd like, you can roll on your back until you come up to your hands and knees and come up to tabletop. So with tabletop, your fingers are spread wide apart. Your wrists are right below your shoulders. Knees are right below your hips. Navel's tucked to your spine to create a nice flat back. And you're pushing down into your hands slightly so that you create space between your shoulder and your ear, so you're not slouched down. And we're going to do a few cat-cows. So we're going to exhale, rounding our back, dropping our head and our tailbone down for cat. Then inhale, lifting our head up, tailbone up for cow. Exhale for cat, rounding our back, dropping our head and tailbone. Nice deep inhale, lifting your head up, tailbone up for cow. And just continue at your own pace with nice, deep, deep breaths, inhales and exhales, going at your own pace. And then come back to a neutral spine, navel's tucked to your belly, tabletop. Then bring both knees together, centering under you. We're going to do bird dog. So extend your right leg up, pointing the toes to the back of the mat, and then extend your left arm up, pointing your fingertips to the top of the mat. And then inhale and flex your toes down toward the mat with an exhale. Point your toes to the back of the mat, inhale. Flex your toes, exhale. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. And last, exhale, flex. Bring both hand and knee back down. We'll do that on the other side. So inhale, bringing your leg up, pointing your toes to the back of the mat, and try to stay centered on your mat. You might tend to lean to one side, but try to reestablish your even keel balance in the beginning. And then lift your right arm up. And then inhale, pointing your toes. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex, and bring hand and knee back down. You tuck your toes under and then walk your hands back into a squat. And then push down your feet, lifting up to mountain. We'll go through the mountain essentials. Your toes are pointing to the square edge of your mat. We'll lift our toes up off the mat and spread them apart as far as you can. And then bring them back down to the mat, lifting your heels off the mat. And then bring your heels back down. Legs are nice and straight and strong, leaving a nice gentle bend in your knees. Navel's tucked to your spine, creating a nice long, tall spine in the back of your neck. Shoulders are relaxed. Roll to the back. Chin is pushed back toward back of your neck, so you're not jutting out your head. And the top of your head, the crown of your head is reaching to the sky. We take a deep inhale, sweeping our hands up overhead. And exhale, forward fold, bringing your hands down to the floor and the mat, bending your knees generously. And take a few breaths here. Check in with your body, see if there's any tension. You send those nourishing breaths to. Then inhale, bringing your hands up to your shins, straightening out your back for half forward fold. Your gaze is down. Heart's open, chest is open. And then exhale, forward fold, bringing the crown toward the ground. And then sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. And we're going to stretch our hands up to the sky, bring ourselves up onto our tippy toes for palm tree. And then just sway here for a moment. And then exhales, bring our hands all the way down for forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, half forward fold. Hands on your shins, flat back. Chest is open. And forward fold, bringing the crown toward the ground. And inhale, sweep your hands all the way up, overhead. Big inhale. And we'll drop our right hand down to our right thigh and slide our hand down toward our right knee, supported side stretch. And inhale, back up, the right hand, dropping the left hand down to the left thigh, and then bring your left hand down toward your left knee. And inhale, come back up. Once again on the right side, right hand to right thigh. Slide that hand down toward your knee. And then come back up. And on the left side, left hand to left thigh. Slide it down toward your knee. Nice side stretch. And inhale, come back up. Exhale, forward fold. Again, you can bring, when you're forward folding, bend your knees as whatever is comfortable for you to support your lower back. Then inhale, sweep your hands up to your shins for half forward fold. Straight back. And then forward fold, extending the crown of your head down toward the ground. Then inhale, sweep your hands all the way up from the mat on up overhead. Bring your hands together so the palms are touching. Then bring your hands down to heart center, Anjali Mudra. We'll do a few leg lifts. So being anchored on your left foot, raise your right knee up so that it's at a 90-degree angle. And then we're going to open it to the right side of the mat. So you may want to use your hand to guide it to the right side, keeping your left hand in Anjali Mudra position, kind of centering you. And then bring it back and bring it back down to the mat. Again, bring your hands up overhead, deep inhale. Palms together, bringing your hands back down to heart center for exhale. We'll do that on the other side. So lift your left leg up. So that's dangling there in a 90-degree position. And then keeping your right hand in the Anjali, so keeping you centered. Take your left hand and guide your left knee to the left side of your mat. And then bring that back to center. And bring your foot back to the mat. Sweeping your hands again all the way up overhead. Big inhale and exhale, forward fold. Bringing your hands all the way down. And then sweep them up to half forward fold. Straightening your back. Exhale, forward fold, bringing the crown of your head toward the ground. And then sweep your hands all the way up. Big inhale. Overhead, palms come together. Bring your hands down to heart center. And then we'll bring our palms of our hands to the back of our hips for supported back bend. So your feet are hip width apart. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. You're going to tuck your chin into your chest and then just drop your shoulders back. And take a couple deep breaths here. And then come back up. How's everyone doing? Okay, we'll sweep our hands up over our head. Inhale. Exhale, bringing our hands down, forward fold. And then extend your feet to the back of the mat, coming into downward dog. So our hands, our fingertips are spread wide apart, supporting our weight, not in the wrist, but being in the fingertips. Our chest is reaching toward our thighs. Hips are extended up to the sky. And knees are either bent or you can pedal, keeping your knees bent. Just pedal out here for a moment. Then on our next inhale, we're going to bring our right knee to our right elbow. So inhale, bring that right knee to the right elbow, pushing away with your left toes. And then bring that back, right foot back down to the mat, pedal out. Again, bring that right knee to the right elbow. And then back to downward dog, pedal out. And on the third time, we're going to bring our right foot all the way up between our hands, coming into runner's lunge. So take a deep inhale, bring your right foot up any way you can so it lands between your hands. And we're in runner's lunge, where the knees right over your right knees right over your right ankle, your left leg's pushing to the back of the mat, heels pushing to the back of the mat, energizing your leg. Then we'll plant our left hand on the mat and sweep our right hand up to the sky for a twist. And bring that right hand back down to the mat. And we're going to go into a high lunge, so we can do that in two parts. So pushing down in your front foot, bring your hands to your right knee, and you can stay there, or you can come all the way up to the high lunge. Your knee is still at angle, the lunge position. Arms are reaching up toward the sky. And if this is a little shaky for you, you can pivot your back foot down, and that would be warrior one. And then just straighten out your front leg ever so slowly. And find the balance. And then bring both hands back down to the mat. Bring your right foot to the back of the mat to join your left foot, coming into plank pose. Plank pose, your wrists are right below your shoulders. Legs are active, heels are pushing to the back of the mat. Navel's tucked to the spine. And you can gently come down in the mat, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. So bring yourself down to the mat and slide your arms out to the top of the mat so that your elbows are right below your shoulders. Tops of your feet are pushing down into the mat. Chest is open and you're in Sphinx position. And I have An enlightenment joke for Sphinx today. Why couldn't the donut reach enlightenment? Why couldn't the donut reach enlightenment? Because it was already holy. We're going to slide our hands below our shoulders and push down gently to come up into cobra. And then with our feet, tops of our feet active on the mat, we're going to push down further and come up into up dog. And then bring your knees to the mat and bring your hips back to your ankles, coming into child's pose. And come back up into tabletop, and then tuck your toes under, come back up into downward dog. And we'll do that on the other side. So pedal out here for a moment. And then on the next inhale, bring your left knee to your left elbow, pushing away with your right toes. And then back to downward dog, pedal out. Inhale, bring your left knee to your left elbow. And then back to downward dog, pedal out. And then on the third one, we're going to bring our left foot between our hands. So inhale and guide your left foot up between your hands, coming into runner's lunge. Knees stacked over your ankle. Right foot is extended all the way back and pushing your right heel toward the back of the mat. We'll plant our right hand down on the mat and then sweep up to the sky with our left hand. And bring your left hand back down. Coming into the high lunge, you can do it in 2 sections or 1. So if you're able to kind of hop all the way up to the high lunge, and again, you can pivot your back foot down to give you a little bit more balance. And then slowly straighten out your left leg. And then bring all your hands back down to the mat. Bring your left foot back to meet your right foot, coming into plank position. Navel's tucked to the spine, and knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Gently come down to the mat. Sliding your hands out. So come into Sphinx. Elbows are right below your shoulders. Tops of your feet pushing down to the mat. Chest is nice and open. Our second joke. Which email attained enlightenment? Which email attained enlightenment? The one that has no attachments. Bring your hands right below your shoulders. Press down gently, coming up into cobra. And if it's available to you, keep pushing down, come up to up dog. And then bring your knees down to the mat, send your hips back to your ankles for child's pose. Then come back up to tabletop. Tuck your toes under, come up into downward dog. And slowly walk your feet up toward your hands. Coming into a forward fold. And then slowly come up into mountain, raising your hands up above your head. And then bringing your palms together. Bring your hands to heart center on the exhale. Then we're going to lift our right leg up. We did earlier. The legs in a right angle. And then slowly guide that leg out and back of you. Reach it as far back as you can. Land it on the mat. We're going to come into warrior two. So before we extend our hands, just get our feet in the right position. Knees, front knees over the ankle, back foot, the back edge of your foot's nice and snug into the mat. Your feet are sinking down to the mat and out. Bring your torso so that it's straight with the side of the mat. And then extend our arms up and send our gaze to the left hand. And then drop our right hand back, lifting our left hand up for peaceful warrior. And then bring our hand back down, back into warrior two. And then bring your left arm to your left thigh, sweeping your right hand overhead for extended side angle. Bring your right hand back down to the mat, back to runner's lunge. And then pushing down in your left foot, you can bring your right foot back to join your left foot and bring yourself into forward fold. Then slowly come back up to mountain. Bringing your arms up overhead. Palms come together. And bring your hands down to heart center. And we're going to do a tree pose. So bring your right leg up. And you can bring it out to the side. And you bring it down to your ankle for one position, or to your shin for another. Or if you're able, you bring it up to your thigh. Hands come to heart center. And then bring your hands up overhead. And then let go of your hands so that they make a nice big round circle of light around you. And then bring your hands back, your leg back down. We'll do that on the other side. So lift your left leg up. Find the stability there. Actually, I'm going to do this way. Lift your left leg up. And then guide it to the back of the mat as far back as it'll go. Landing it down on the mat and coming into warrior two position. So wiggle your way into a good comfortable warrior two. Knees over your ankle. Back edge of your back foot is snug against the mat. Bring your hands to heart center. Anchoring your torso so that it's in line with the edge of your mat. And then bring your arms up to shoulder height and send your gaze to the right fingertips for warrior two. Inhale, lifting your right hand up to the sky, dropping your left hand back to your left thigh for peaceful warrior. And then bring your right hand back down. Come back into warrior two. And bring your right arm to your right thigh, sweeping your left arm overhead for extended side angle. And bring that left hand down to the mat, coming into runner's lunge. You can bring your left foot up to meet your right foot. So push down on your right foot to support your weight. And then slowly roll up to mountain pose. Bringing your hands up overhead, palms come together. And then hands come to heart center. And we'll do the tree pose on the other side. So again, we're going to lift our left leg up. You can guide it over to the left if that works for you. And then bring it down to your ankle for tree pose, or to the shin, or to your thigh. And then bring your hands up overhead. Feel that nice strength and stability, stillness. And then let your hands create this nice wide circle all the way around you. And then bring your foot back down to the mat. Very good, everyone. And then we're going to bring our toes to the edges of the mat. Heels are tucked in at 45-degree angle. Hands are at heart center. We'll do our wide-legged squat. So bring your hips down toward the mat. Bringing your torso between your legs. Your elbows are between your legs. Bringing your hands down toward the mat if you like an extra stretch. And then bring your hips down to the mat, come into staff position. So you're seated on the mat, your legs are extended fully, toes are flexed, pointing to the sky. Make little fists and push them down into the mat, lifting your hips up, and then coming down, really feeling your hip bones, your sit bones on the mat. We'll bring our knees up. So the knees are pointing to the sky. We're going to do a few half boats here. So think about that straight back that you achieved in your staff pose. Tuck your hands underneath your knees and lift your legs up so that you're maintaining that nice straight back. So you could actually pull on your legs to really create that nice straight back. Then I'm going to touch the right toe down to the mat, touch the left toe down to the mat, and then touch both toes down to the mat. So again, right, touch down, comes back up, left, touch down, comes back up, and then both toes down, back up. So again, right, left down, both down, and see if the next round you can let go of your legs and touch down your right toe, left toe, both toes. Bring your hands back underneath your knees. Touch down right toe, left toe, both toes, maintaining that nice straight back. Let go of your knees if you want. Right toes, left toes, both toes. Put your hands back under your knees. One last time. Right toe goes down, left toe goes down, both toes go down. And one last time for releasing your hands. Right toe, left toe, both toes. And then from here, just roll down on the mat. Knees to chest. And then rock back and forth. Give your lower back a nice massage. If you like, you can make some nice circles, pointing your toes and drawing circles, clockwise and then counterclockwise. And then extend your legs to the bottom of the mat and prepare for Shavasana. You just relax your whole body. Let your feet flop open. Let your hands flop open to the side. Maybe at a 45-degree angle away from your body with the palms facing up. Shoulders are nice and snug in the mat. And just do a body scan from your toes on up to your nose. Relaxing every part of your body on the journey up to your nose. And I have a quote from Robert Frost. Suddenly, quietly, you realize that from this moment forth, you will no longer walk through this life alone. Like a new sun, this awareness arises within you, freeing you from fear, opening your life. It is the beginning of love and the end of all that came before.